Welcome to this next episode of YouTube where we're talking about the final introduction plans. And as far as we know, with the current information that we have, Luna's medical test came back with her vitamin D levels back in normal range. Her femur fracture is completely healed. No other issues that we saw. The x-ray shows, bone density improving. Certainly not to the point where we're done with supplements. We'll continue nutritional supplements well until she's completed with the growth stage, but she's got great attitude. You may notice the webcam got moved. We had a cable that went out, and so we had to move the webcam, and we basically have the pups using the medical pen there. The other thing that we've been doing is we've been letting the pups get used to the pack holding area, and this is where Grizzer's, kind of the front half of Grizzer's enclosure. We do move Grizzer to the back half, and maybe an hour a day, the pups actually get to explore in this pack holding area, and that's actually where the introduction is going to take place. So initially they were a little cautious. They were sniffing and really showing a lot of investigatory behavior where they're checking out any scent marking. Obviously Grizzer's got a lot of things for them to check out, new holes and logs and stumps and parts of deer and things like that. So there's a lot of things to investigate. So they're a little cautious, and you can see them kind of a little intimidated and sniffing a little bit. And we certainly wanted to make sure that they were comfortable with this area before the actual introduction took place. Now Grizzer obviously is in the back, and this is Grizzer's response to the puppies being in his pen, rolling over, trying to submit to him. He's definitely was very excited for them to be in there. And it took a little bit of time, but certainly the hole was the big stimulus. And here's Luna and Boltz trying to, dig their way, dig this hole a little bit deeper. Luna's scent rolling in it. That became, kind of the fun thing for them to do. And that's what we really intended, was to give them something that was, a positive association with this enclosure, so that the day of the introduction they look forward to coming in. They're excited about coming in, and it's not intimidating. So we'll continue to allow them some time in this area as the days wane here before the introduction. So that was kind of took a little bit of our time, and certainly was well worth our efforts. It takes a little time to move Grizzer back and move the pups in, and give them enough time in there. But like I said, this hole became the focus for both of them, and as well as the pond. There was a little bit of time in the pond, but we were trying to keep Luna out of it. Her sutures, again, she was spayed a week ago Wednesday, and those are her suture line is healed up, but we just want to make sure and kind of keep her out of immersing water. So better to be down in a dirt hole than to be in the pond. So that's really what's kind of gone on. So as I said, I'll kind of give you the idea of what the plan is going to be. At this point on Monday morning, we intend to bring the pups into this pack holding area, let them play for a little bit, and then we will bring in Aiden first. And meeting one wolf at a time is often less intimidating for the pups, easier for the staff to kind of intervene. We also believe that Aiden's got the stronger kind of guarding behavior about the pups, and so we hope that Aiden, if he meets the pups first, will then help. If Denali gets a little bit too rambunctious, we'll help guard them, or we'll help keep Denali under control. So that'll take place on with just wolf care staff on Monday morning, where we will keep the rest of the the team in the building, so we don't have a lot of people in the yard except 4 or 5 core wolf care staff. And then we will, once we feel that Aiden is doing well with them, then we'll bring Denali in, and this is actually a clip of the entryway coming in from the exhibit. There's a chute that goes into a kennel where we bring Aiden in, and then the door where Boltz is standing right now, that's where we'll first initially have them meet through the door. So we watch that reaction before we open that door and let Aiden in, and then we'll do the same thing again with Denali. But basically, like I say, once they're together for about an hour in the small pack holding area, then we'll release them into the big exhibit, and the behavioral team will be ready there to record data. So obviously after the pups are done in the pup pen, then we bring Grizzer back in, and that's a great stimulus for him. He gets to mark all the places where the puppies have been, and equally important for him is all the places where people have been. because obviously we have pup care participants who are helping with this socialization process, and so there's people that are not wolf care that are coming in the pen, and Grizzer gets an opportunity to sniff where they've been sitting, where they've been standing, and just, a lot of really good stimulus for him. And certainly we were, always worried about how Grizzer, if it was going to be too much for him to be moved off, if he was going to be too anxious. But this is, very calm behavior and really good stimulus. And like I say, it keeps him kind of piqued in interest. We saw him submit to the pups on the backside. So the only difference will be for the introduction will be Aiden and Denali are going to be in there with the pups. Now we're going to try on Saturday night before the feeding program. We're going to bring Aiden and Denali in there prior to the feeding program on Saturday night, so Grizzer will at least see them in there before the introduction, and hopefully spend a little time, getting used to that. So obviously, the whole pup movement, Grizzer movement, does not seem to have an impact on him. He's very relaxed. Came out to take a drink in the pond, but for the most part, he's very relaxed about this movement of pups in and out, and that's been a really good thing. We are always concerned about not just the pups, but we're also concerned about how the other wolves are dealing with these kind of transitional things. So as I said, best as information that we have at this point is that Luna is ready to go with Boltz. As we said, we will continue to do nutritional supplements for Luna. The pups will continue to be fed twice a day. When they go in, we'll probably be drawing them back out into the medical pen, which they've been spending a lot of time in and get very familiar with, and we'll draw them back into there and be able to feed twice a day and be able to get the nutritional needs that are required in order to maximize Luna's nutrition and help her develop into a stronger pup and into a stronger adult. So the question also was, how are the retired wolves out of the Arctics and Shadow Malik dealing with this? This is a view of Shadow Malik when the pups were in, and this is when we were kind of moving him out. You can see the stimulus. Definitely very interested. You see his head finally got caked to fly ointment. I did manage to get him a full dose of fly ointment the other day by hand, but for the most part, they're watching it from the den. We continue to spray the den with cedar oil, so that makes that den fly-free zone, and we also have cedar chips in there, so that makes it pretty nice for them. And last is how are Aiden and Denali doing with all of this? Well, we've had a couple of interesting developments. We had a behind-the-scenes program on Wednesday night, and again on Thursday. We saw a little bit of interesting behavior from Aiden. He gets a little intimidated from people, and so we got a little bit standoffish, and we had to work with him on Thursday morning to get him to come back up to the front of the exhibit. So definitely reinforcing the idea that on an introduction day and even the day prior, we need to keep things calm, we need to keep things normal, and we need to keep things, with just people that he's familiar with. We don't want Aiden going into this introduction intimidated. And as you can see by this footage, these puppies are ready, both Luna and Boltz, willingly greeting the adults. The adults continue to regurgitate for them, and Aiden especially whining at the fence, greeting them, and that's really what we see as a very positive response. So we will go forward. We will post some YouTube footage next Friday and be able to give a complete identification of the events and how it proceeded and how we believe it went. And from that point on, we will continue to post updates all along. So that's it for this week, and thanks for watching, and thanks for everyone's interest in Luna and how Luna's doing. We are happy with her progress, and we hope to continue to heal this puppy and make her a very important part of the exhibit pack. Thanks again. See you next week.